EQ-200 and the Boss DD-200 here at the studio for a couple of weeks, and I've done some separate videos with them, but I figured it might be nice to do a video with them together the way I would use them in a live rig. Essentially, I'm using the independent EQs in the EQ-200 in two ways. The first EQ, channel A, is going to be before the amp, using it as a boost. Channel B, I'm going to put in the effects loop to sort of fine-tune the amp sound and use it as a solo boost. And then the DD-200 is also going to be in the loop for all my time-based sounds. Let's get straight into it. Before we get started, here's a straight up guitar sound. You'll hear the bridge pickup and then the neck pickup of my 77 Strat. I like the way that's set up. If I play really hard, I get a little bit more crunch going on. So it's what I would consider a little bit more than an edge of breakup kind of sound. The first thing we want to do is dial in the pre-EQ with the EQ-200. I want to set this up as a pre-boost so it can give me more gain and shape the sound of my guitar a little bit. Generally, what I like to do here is to use the level control and then also push the mid-range as well as pulling out a bit of extreme high and low end, essentially doing what we would do with a drive pedal like a Tube Screamer or a Boss Super Overdrive. They often have this kind of mid-hump going on, and they're also attenuating the extreme high and low end of the sound. The way I'm running the EQ-200 as well is I'm running it as two independent EQs. So the A channel, which I can operate with the on and off foot switch, is going to be before the amp, and the B channel, which I'm going to operate with the memory foot switch, is going to be in the effects loop. So let's get this pre-EQ going. I'll just play a little bit and pull a few frequencies out. Because I'm playing a Strat, I would probably choose to push 800. If I was playing like a Les Paul, I'd probably focus the boost around the 1.6K band. So there's quite a bit of mid-range honk going on there. It's almost sounding like I've got a wah on in parts, but I like that because it's really thickening up the sound on the bridge pickup there, and it means the neck pickup, because I'm pulling out a lot of low end, isn't getting too boomy when I really push it, and I'm using the overall level control to saturate the amp. So let's hear the bridge pickup, then the neck pickup again. Sweet, I like that as my pre-EQ boost. What I'm going to do is, I'll turn that off, but I'll go over to channel B, and what we're going to do here is dial in a solo boost so that I can get a little bit more volume happening. The first thing I would do, I'll just level all of these out. The thing you want to read off here on this as well is the little screen, not so much the faders, because we're running two different channels with different fader settings. So what I would do is, maybe I'll give like 1.6 a little boost, just kind of around there, just to sort of push the mid-range. I won't really play with the low end or the high end here. Let's just hear what that does. So it makes my guitar poke out a lot more, which on its own might sound a little bit ugly, but in the context of a band mix is going to be great. And I'll just add a little bit of level there, so it turns the whole thing up. So it's not messing too much with the overall tone of my guitar, it's just making it poke out in those very guitar-specific regions. So what I've got now is channel B, the memory switch I can turn on, independent to channel A. They're operating in different parts of the signal chain, and I'm pretty happy there that I can go from, say, my edge of breakup sound to a pre-boost and really get some more saturation, and then if I want to turn that saturation up, I can use channel B. Happy days right there. Let's move over to the delay. I'll turn the boosts off for now. The way I've got the delay set up is I'm running an external switch, which is going to let me cycle through the different memory modes. So I can have the manual mode and 4 memory. So 5 different delay sounds on tap. What I'm going to do is dial in a couple of these different sounds. I'm going to start off with this dual delay mode. I've got this set to the tap tempo, and it's running as a quarter note. What I'm going to do is use this parameter control here to set the ratio between the 2 delay times to be 75%. If you work it out, that means that one delay is going to be synced as a quarter note, the other one is going to be synced as a dotted 1/8 note. What I'll do is I'll start with the feedback off, I'll start with the tone in the middle, I'll bring the effects level up, and I'll have no modulation depth to start with. Let's just hear what this one does. What I'll do is maybe add a little bit of feedback there, say 10% subtle. And this would kind of be like my lead delay. I like the way I've got those 2 delays going off one another, and I've brought the tone control down to basically make the delay sound a little bit warmer. Let's hear that when I kick in the pre-boost. I like that. That's like cheat mode for your guitar. More gain and that really nice halo around the notes with the delays. So if I hold this memory function down, I can write it to one of the various memory modes. So let's do this. I'll put it in, where should we put it? Number 1. So I'll hold that one down. There we go. And we've got number 1 in my memory bank is this dual delay for leads. That's pretty cool. Let's go back to the memory mode. What I want to do now is I want a chorus sound out of this. So I'm going to start with the standard digital delay mode. And of course, a chorus is just a really short delay with some modulation on it. So what I'm going to do is use a time control. I'm going to turn this all the way down. You can press and twist and you'll get coarse control of the delay time. I like, say, about 12 milliseconds. We'll have no feedback, and I'll turn the effects level up to about 50%. And then I'm going to set the tone neutral. I'm going to turn the parameter control down on this digital delay so it's doing nothing. And I'll just bring a bit of modulation in. I like the sound of that. Let's save that, say, to memory number 2. There we go. Now I've got a chorus sound built in there. I like that a lot. For number 3, I want some kind of just weird delay, I think, here. I might go with, say, let's go to that drum mode. I really like that one. And we can select between different head configurations, let's go for like this 2, 3, 4. I've got this set up so it's synced to a quarter note on the tempo. Let's go to a dotted eighth, and I'll just sort of tap a tempo in. What does this sound like? I mean, that's not super weird. That's kind of like mid-70s weird, but I dig it. So let's save that to memory number 3. And then we'll go for something really weird on number 4, like a special effects kind of delay. So go back over to our manual mode. Ooh, what could I do? Let's go with the Terra Echo. I really like this one. Whatever the settings are at the moment, it sounds like this. And that's the thing I really like about that little Terra Echo pedal. The fact it's built in here is pretty awesome. Let's save that to number 4. Now I've got 4 very different delay modes that I can select between. I've got my little foot switch over here. There we go. So let's just have a listen to these modes. We've got number 1 was my dual delay for leads. Pretty subtle thing going on there. Number 3 was my, what was that? The drum echo. Almost in between like a reverb and a delay. And number 4 was a Terra Echo for weird stuff. And again, that's more functional weird than like totally unmusical weird. So what I've got set up now is if I wanted to, I've got my foot switch, I can cycle through these different modes as so. And I've obviously got the manual mode, but I'll just stick to these memories that we've dialed in. So what I would do is I might start with a kind of cleanish sound. I'll use the neck and the middle position, and then I could use my dual delay together with a pre-EQ boost and a post-EQ boost to go from basically kind of like a cleanish sound to an over-the-top wild lead guitar sound. Furthermore, if I wanted to, I could set all of this up using an external MIDI controller, which would select the different modes, say the manual mode or the memory mode on the EQ-200, the way I've got it set up, as well as selecting the different memories that we've got on the DD-200. So that's how I dial these in if I was using a single channel amp and I basically just wanted like a saturation boost and also wanted a volume boost to make my guitar poke out in the mix using the EQ-200, the independent EQ modes there. And then I love delay. That's kind of one non-negotiable effect in a rig for me if I'm going to go and play live, and the various delay modes in the DD-200. I can do the dual delay thing that I like. It can do chorus. It can do sort of retro psychedelic echoes. It can do really modern sounding ones in there as well. And you know, these pedals just look really cool next to one another. I like this new form factor that Boss have gone with. So hopefully this video was in some way informative and not just mindless self-indulgence on my part. I mean, it was mindless self-indulgence on my part, but if there's something you have a question about or anything you didn't understand, let me know in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you next time. Cheers.